Hello everyone and welcome back. Justin Siebert here. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about interviewing in the workplace from a hiring manager's perspective and the interviewee. I've received quite a bit of questions around this topic recently, so I thought I'd do a video. From a standpoint of the hiring manager, right? You are the one that is creating the need to interview someone, right? So you should have obviously the purpose, the scope, the job description, who you're looking for. Are you working with a recruiter or not? It depends. There's many different variables, right? Is it a senior level position? Is it very technical? Is it more less skilled? There's many different variables, but you absolutely need to know exactly the type of candidate that you're looking for ahead of time. You have to do the work ahead of time. Whether you lost somebody on your team through attrition, somebody retired, somebody was promoted into a different role. I think the key thing here that goes somewhat overlooked that makes the interview process harder than it needs to be is leaders typically don't do a very good job at all with succession planning. And what I mean by succession planning is if you're a leader of a large organization, right, you have hundreds if not thousands of people working for you, that doesn't mean you need a succession plan for each one of those individuals. However, you do need succession plan for those key critical roles and whatever those are that you identify, right? It may be 5, it may be 10, it may be 25, but you have to plan out and you have to get ahead of, if somebody leaves today, what is your backup plan, right? Because that shows a lot about you as a leader. What are you doing if your number one right-hand man or woman leaves tomorrow? What are you doing? Do you have a plan? First and foremost, if you don't have that, I would highly recommend that you get that. You have to have a succession plan. Start with your top performers, right? Your all-stars, and then move down the list. Now, the reason why I'm talking about succession plan is because that's essentially going to help you out. If you have a very thorough succession plan, it should help you out in the interview process, right? You should get out ahead of it, where if you lose somebody, you lose a key player, maybe a mid-level, average type performer, you know the type of person that you need to get in there. You know if you can hire internally, right? If you have that talent pool, that bench depth behind you in your organization, or if you need to source a recruiter and go outside, use the LinkedIns of the world and let other people do the work for you. So that should really help you as a hiring manager for a role. You really want to close that gap from when that person leaves to when you hire that and onboard that person, right? Because it's not a lengthy process. But again, get your succession planning right, and that should help you. Now, I think the more difficult part is the interviewee, right? You're looking for a job. I've interviewed hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of people over the years in many different settings. That could be in person, obviously, I think is the most traditional. Skype nowadays, or FaceTime, virtual, remote. What else is there? There can be a group setting. You can do some sort of automated test if you're interviewing with a larger organization. Nowadays, they're doing more of these skill-based tests, these behavior-based tests, where they're maybe using a third party to look at your behaviors or look at your skill sets ahead of time, technically, to see if you're able to do what you say you're doing on the resume, right? Because a majority of the time, everyone's resume looks great. You can hire Joe Blow on the internet to create the best looking resume that you have, but experience tells it all, right? Your experience will get you in the door. Once you have that interview, once you have that interview scheduled, it is up to you to sell yourself, right? You have to do a better job than every other candidate. You have to stick out from the crowd. You have to do something different, right? So once you do get that interview scheduled, you're 50% of the way there. Now you need to seize the deal. And as an interviewer, a leader of people over the years, it is absolutely mind-blowing how unprepared a majority of the candidates are. They may not know the very basics of your company that you work for, right? They may not know the very basics of the actual position that they applied for, right? It's unbelievable. Or they're not, you talk about dress the part, look the part, act the part. They're not showing up to the interview like they want the job, right? They're showing up to the interview like they're going to some sort of barbecue on the weekend with their friends and maybe business casual, right? You have to dress like you want the job, guys. You don't want the job, don't show up. It's as simple as that. Later on, you can do the casual Fridays and relax your wardrobe if that's what your organization allows. But if you're not showing up in appropriate wardrobe, you might as well stay at home, because you're not going to get the job. You're certainly not going to get the job with me, I can tell you that. So again, you have to figure out ahead of time. You need to talk to other people. You need to get your mentors. I've talked about mentors in the past, your network. If you've been in your current role for a while, or you're shopping around, you're job shopping, or if you're being recruited, you have to have a strategy ahead of time so you're not pulled in all these different directions. You have to understand why you may be interviewing for this job. If you're just interviewing, your mind's not going to be in it, your heart's not going to be in it, and you're wasting your time, and you're wasting the hiring manager's time and the organization's time, okay? So you need to figure out if your heart's in it all the way, this is for you. You need to know about the organization. You need to know the job description upside down and out. You need to understand the value that you're going to provide, and that's probably the most important. What is going to set you apart from others, right? What value are you going to bring that's different from other candidates, right? And it's not just saying, it's what the company is going to hire you on the premise that you're going to be doing something for them in the future, right? What can you do above and beyond the job description in 5 years? What do you want to be within that organization? Most companies are going to be hiring not only for the current role that they're interviewing you for, but for the potential down the way, right? What is your runway? You need to look at what your runway is in that organization, see where the different leaders are in that organization, and see what you want to do, what you bring to the table, right? And express those things during the interview, right, to the leader. Because depending on the level of responsibility in this role, you could be interviewing with a senior level vice president, you could be interviewing with the president CEO, you could be interviewing with the chairman. You need to be prepared for all those things, right? So again, dress the part, look the part, act the part, that's a given. You don't have those things, you need to figure that out first. You need to figure out what the value you provide, okay? What value are you going to give your potential new employer? Or if it's an internal promotion, it's the same thing, right? You may have an upper hand because they see you in action every single day versus a external candidate, all right? But you need to really set yourself apart, okay? Now, in the next week or two, I'm going to do a video on career progression, career path. Once you get in a job you like or you wanted earlier in your career, or maybe midway through your career, what are your options there, right? Career path. Talk about that. So Again, hopefully this helped today from an interviewee's perspective, a hiring manager, interviewer perspective, to give you both sides of the coin there, to help you be a better interviewer, right? Because that's you can be the smartest person in the world, have your Ivy League credentials, all that, but if you suck at interviewing, you're gonna suck, and you need to fix that. You're not gonna get the job, and you're gonna be wondering, I'm interviewing for all these jobs and I'm not getting the job. All right, so you need to be confident. I think I'll leave on that note. You absolutely must be confident, and the others are gonna see that you're not confident. Okay, so if my content continues to be valuable for you, please like my videos, comment down at the bottom if you have any questions, subscribe to my channel so you can see when my new videos are coming out, and we'll talk to you soon. Thank you. Cheers.